So let's look at the next thing here. So outside support and resistance, we look at trend lines, how you can use them or how you can place them. So the same way you have horizontal and vertical support, you also have horizontal and vertical. You also have support and resistance trend line. Now remember, I told you last time that the market does not move so straight like this. Sometimes the market moves sideways like a wave. So how you're going to use to take entries in this kind of market is looking at the chart. Is there any sideways movement? So you use the trend line to measure that. So this is always the resistance trend line, and this is always the support. So when placing a trend line, that means you can buy at the touch of this point because that is the support of the trend line. You can also sell if this is how the market is ranging, is moving like this. So we are going to see that, we're going to look at that in the chart, on the chart. So let's look at the chart. Okay, this is GBP USD. So if I want to look at this properly, I will first of all observe, is the market moving in a range sideways? So you can see it's moving in a sideways direction. So I will now get the next two, not the rectangle two, but I'm going to pick the trend line two, and then I'm going to begin to draw. So I'm going to give you rules that will guide you and how you will know your trend line is a valid trend line. So you still have assignment to do for me today, how to draw a trend line, and I'll tell you how you can go about that. Someone will just come in at an odd period, skip like 2 lectures and come any day. Is that the way to learn? All right, so I hope you understand how I did this, but if you don't, you watch again. So remember, these are called technical tools or analysis. So you try to complete the technical aspects from your end. Technical is what you do by yourself to take trading decision. So this is this. So you can see what I'm doing here. So I told you I'm going to give you a rule that will guide you. You don't just place trend line anyhow. Okay. So I'm going to also take note of the support trend line below. So let's see the rule guiding us for us to place a trend line. So for your trend line to be valid, for you to have a trend line, it doesn't matter whatever time frame. I'm using the 4-hour time frame. So for your trend line to be valid, what do you need to do? You must have 2 to 3 touches on the trend line. 2 to 3 touches. For that trend line to be valid, you must have the candlestick must be touching the line. Remember, I said 2 to 3. So that's the rule. That's the rule of the game. So the next thing here we have one touch, here we have another touch, but the we have some slight manipulations because it looks like the trend line are going to be violated. So, but at most, just make sure you can capture one or two on the trend line. So whatever happens, we know that this is a valid trend line. So when you are doing the assignments, this is what you're going to do for me. You're going to get a rectangle tool. And then you're going to put the box here. Adjust the box. Now let me teach you what you do for me. Some people like to they like to fill in color inside the rectangle so that once here is shaded, you know that yes, it is, you have shaded it. So to fill in that rectangle, just hold the box, then click on the pointer sign, then come to the fill section, tick that box so you fill it with color. So I just want a good color. Let me just pick in gray. So now I have shaded that point, so I know that I had one touch here. So let me just delete this, but subsequently the next box I'm going to draw is going to have that color. I have set it to be, I've turned it off from the default color. So we have on the trend line a touch here, a touch here. Though the trend line is not that, it's not perfectly aligned, but that is just what it is. So what am I saying? In your assignment, you will not just draw trend line for me. You are going to show me with a rectangle box. I've shown you how to fill it in. Show me how the candles connect to your trend line. Remember, I say 2 to 3 touches. That is the rule that makes a trend line valid. So you can see that we can sell here, we can sell here by what the market is doing. Also, as the market is moving here, we will watch when it touches this zone. We'll see if it will break it or start selling again. So that is that for GBP. You can see it. So in addition to support and resistance, you have to you must also check if price is moving in a sideways direction. So that is that. I take another example from a chart. Okay, this is USD CAD. Let's see what USD CAD is doing on the far. Do we have any sideways movement? Oh, sure, we do. So let's see what is happening here. From here, we have price moving and forming a kind of range or support from here. So there's a connection between this point and this. So we have two touches on the trend line. So the trend line there is valid. So we have what we call correction. So that means the market can at any point adjust a particular trend line. So let's look at this. So for now, okay, this is this for USD CAD. So how is my trend line valid? I have to do the analysis myself, ensure that I fill in this to show that there are 2 to 3 touches, candles connected to my trend line. So we can see this. Okay. Are you understanding what I'm doing? Are you getting it? Hello? Hello? Hello.